Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing and football selections for Saturday, the 16th of November. So, disappointing day on Friday. We got Sweet David that won very well, nearly got took out, did collide with the rail. First selection went about 15, 20 lengths clear, hung on for a place, and then after that, it was disappointing. The big prize, 100 to 1, it never ever materialised. Drawn wide. I think they wanted to get forward with it, didn't have the pace, kept out wide, not quick enough, basically. So let me get on to Saturday's selections. So I think it's a funny day's racing. It's not fantastic. Um, I think there's holes even to be picked in the Cheltenham card, especially the Paddy Power Gold Cup. I do think it's pretty poor, to be fair. There's a lot of horses that are okay, but there's question marks over a lot of them. I think a lot of them are handicapped up to their best. There's one running off a wind operation, which I tend to avoid anyway, and there's some horses that just want further. So it's a very interesting race. So what I've gone for is I've gone for a huge, a 5 pence each way, lucky 63, basically huge prices, and these horses are not expected to come place. The bookmakers are basically saying they've got no chance, a lot of them, or slim chance. What I'm saying is a lot of these horses, I think, or some of them, could sneak one of the places. I'm not confident really of any of them winning, but I do believe you don't have at these kind of prices. You don't need these horses to win. Don't get wrong; it would be great, but it's not going to happen. We need ideally four of them to come placed for a very nice bet. They haven't got to comfortably come placed; they could just sneak a place. But I do like the look of them. There is an angle. I'll try and remember all the angles as I go through them. So I have picked quite a few horses. So I'll go through them in order. But the first bet is, so this is my strongest fancied bet. I really like the look of these, and this is based on form. So it's a 57 pence each way painting that comes to £7.98, and then £1 each way treble that takes it to a tenner. So the first selection is Jimmy the Digger. I've left the price in the 1 at Cheltenham, paying 4 places instead of 3. It's fit, it's running okay, and I do think it's got a chance. It's trained by Henry Daly. I think it's actually ran in this race before. It is a bit of a Cheltenham specialist, which is what you want. Archie Jones on board. I believe Archie Jones rode this horse last time, and I just think it's got a chance. The second selection is Thanks for the Help. I've left the price in the 255 at Cheltenham, paying 5 places instead of 3. So this horse's most recent run, I believe, was over an inadequate trip. It was about 2.5 miles at Chepstow. Chepstow's a stiff course, but then again, so is Cheltenham. So 2.5 miles. I just think that was a bit of a lung opener to try and get a little bit fitter. This horse, I believe, is £1 higher than when it absolutely hosed up. And I think that was at Chepstow as well. I do like the look of this horse. It actually ran, I think it was 8th of 20 something at Cheltenham. It was the favourite that day. I believe it was for one of the Cheltenham Festival handicaps. What I don't know is, I don't know if they're aiming at today's race, or that actually this is just like, I won't say a prep run, but this is just a run around Cheltenham in preparation for March. Don't get wrong, March is a very long way off, and it's not like it's a fitness preparation. I'm just wondering, I personally think that it's got to have a chance tomorrow, Thanks for the Help, because I think they'll pick up some prize money, and then they'll probably give it a month off and look to bring it back, probably for the Cheltenham Festival again. It's JP McManus, so he always likes a winner at Cheltenham, and I think it's got a chance. It's not a great price at the moment. It's only 5 to 1, which it's not really a price I want to be backing when they're paying first five. I would normally go for a much bigger price, but I do think this horse, there is an angle where it could be held up towards the back, and I think it will come into contention pretty comfortably if it's come on since that last race at Chepstow. The third selection is the nap of the day, and but the problem is though I think it's an apprentice race or amateur race. I think it's amateur race. It's King of Speed at 15-2 in the 4:30 at Wolverhampton, paying 4 places instead of 3. And as I mentioned in the previous video, it's a Loughnane horse, and I think this horse has got a cracking chance. I have seen this jockey in the past. Her name's Tilly something. It's Miss Tilly Evans, and it's trained by Mark Loughnane. This horse, it normally comes from off the speed. So if they go off too fast, it's got every chance. I just hope it doesn't get into trouble. But I really like the look of this. I must be bonkers saying it's my nap of the day to say it's an apprentice race. But I like the look of it. I think 15-2 is too big. And normally, if the Loughnane fancy something, that'll probably open up something like the 7-2 favourite. So I've took the price, and I do like the look of it. That's the first bet. I couldn't really put anything with it to make it a lucky 15. So if you fancy one of your own horses and you fancy 3 of mine, feel free to chuck one of your horses with it. So the next bet is... So this one is a lucky 15. But what I've gone for in this one is... I've been wanting to do this for a while. I think there's a lot of value in the paying 3 places instead of 2 races. And I know this isn't really going to suit the people without Sky Bet accounts, because a lot of these are 7-runner fields. If you get one non-runner, it's a 50-50 chance. Well, straight away, I look at the outsiders in these kind of races, the 3-for-2 races. And so I'm going to go through it. So this is a strong bet as well. It's a 25 pence each way, lucky 15, and a 50 pence each way accumulator. So the first selection is Omaha Wish. I've left the price in the 153 at Uttoxeter, paying 3 places instead of 2. This horse was trained by Dan Skelton. It won a race pretty nicely. This is a very poor race, by the way. It won a race very nicely. They went off the boil. Could be interesting to see what Sam Alwood does with this. I'm not too familiar with the trainer, but I have seen him have winners. Charlie Todd's on board. And Charlie Todd could actually do okay. I mentioned about these big price accumulators. I think he's got some fancied rides, or definitely Ian Williams has got some fancied not fancied horses. Ian Williams has got some interesting horses. I think Charlie Todd's on some of them. Might be worth just taking another look, but my bets are on anyway. But Omaha Wish, I'm hoping it's been freshened up by Sam Alwood, and I think it's got a chance. Speaking of Ian Williams, the next selection is Primary Explosive. 18-1. This shouldn't be 18-1. That's why I've took the price. I think they've got it massively wrong with this one. Don't get me wrong, it's going to end up being 50s, but it's in the 228 at Uttoxeter, paying 3 places instead of 2. This also ran 3 times and not particularly inspiring in any of those runs. However, the most recent run was probably the most encouraging. If it improves off that run, it could sneak 3rd place. And 3rd place is fine because it's 18-1. It's a nice, tasty price. The next selection is Goritza Bay, and this is also Charlie Todd and Ian Williams. I like the look of this horse purely for the fact that I just think in this race, this horse is more of a 2-miler than a lot of the other horses. The reason I've took the price is not because 4-1's a fantastic price when they're paying first 3, but I think this has got a serious chance of winning. And if the stable have deliberately taken horses to Uttoxeter for potentially a double, treble, or 4-timer, I don't think you're going to get 4-1. I think if this horse is seriously fancied by the stable, you could see 7-4, 2-1. That's my honest opinion. I may be completely wrong, but I think Goritza Bay, if fancied by connections, could be a much shorter price, and that's why I've took the 4s. The next selection is Lickelman, is it? Something like that. In the 5:48 at Newcastle, paying 3 places instead of 2. So this horse is trained by Simon West. James Sullivan is one of the better jockeys in the race. I do like the look of this horse because if you go back a bit, it's got some okay form on the all weather. It's actually ran okay at Newcastle in the past. For quite a while, it's been on the turf quite a lot recently, and running on ground, in my opinion, that has been far too slow for it, and it's ran very free, and therefore it hasn't got home. But I think it's got a favourable handicap mark, and I think it's got every chance. Right. Here's the exciting one. Here's the retirement there. So this is a 5 pence each way. Lucky 63, and I know a lot of us or a lot of you like these kind of bets because um, it can get the old blood pumping if the first couple do pretty well, and also it can give you a nice cash out. So that's partly the reason why I've took the prices, but I also think the prices are quite realistic anyway, or I say realistic, quite generous. So the first selection is Janadil at 28 to 1 in the 220 at Cheltenham in the Paddy Power Gold Cup, paying 5 places instead of 3. And personally, the bookmakers must be absolutely bonkers to give such a big price for a William Mullins horse from the William Mullins stable that only has one runner in this. I believe this horse, you can give it a chance. And the reason why you can give it a chance is because for the last 4 or 5 runs, it's been run over distance, in my opinion, that it doesn't want. You would think, Charlie, it's 2.5 mile tomorrow. Yeah, and if you go back through the form, the vast majority of its best form is over 2.5 mile. And then most recently, they've stepped it up. And I'm thinking that it hasn't stayed. It hasn't liked the different distances, and it's now back to 2.5 mile. Well, William Mullins is very good at getting horses fit. So what he's probably done is he's actually got a very competitive handicap mark now, and all he's had to do is get this horse fit, and all of a sudden it could have every chance. It's got, I think it's first time tongue strap and blinkers combination. I think, I'm not sure, but even if I'm mistaken that with another horse, it doesn't matter. I think Janadil is a ridiculous price at 28 to 1. Just trying to remember who's on it. Brian Hayes. I'm not too familiar with the jockey, as in like I'm not really backed too many of his horses. But for paying first 5, I think it's got a sneak. The second selection, the second selection is Z-Band at 14 to 1 in the 255 at Cheltenham, paying 5 places instead of 3. This is fit, hopefully raring to go. I believe this horse ran well in the Supreme Novices. If it didn't, I've mixed it up with another selection, but another selection that I haven't mentioned yet. But this horse, if this is the horse that ran in the Supreme Novices, this horse showed a massive step up in a massive step up in performance in that race at Cheltenham, even though it was well outclassed, and it achieved its best racing post rating so far of its short career at that point. Z-Band comes into this race fit. It's owned and trained by the Gilligans, and they tend to do okay, to be fair, at Cheltenham. I personally think 14 to 1 is too big. However, it would not surprise me if it drifted. But I've took 14 to 1 purely for the fact that I think it's an acceptable price, and it also gives me the option of having a cash out. If I leave it to SP, you never get the option of cashing out, and I'm prepared to take that risk, to be fair. The third selection is Savvy Victory at 40 to 1 in the 315 at Newcastle, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse likes the all weather. It's a competitive race. It has got to improve because it's behind the others on ratings. I think it could sneak a place. Its most recent run was over a mile at Southall, which I believe was too short for it. And how it raced, it was prominent on the outside and then weakened towards the finish. I think that may have been a prep run, and they might be trying to sneak some minimum place money in this race. It's a very valuable race. It's about 30 odd grand, I think it is. So I think it's got a chance. And Sean Woods is not a bad trainer. The fourth selection is King's Hill in the 330 at Cheltenham, paying 4 places instead of 3. Just give me 1 second because I've actually forgot why I picked this. Oh, yeah, that's it. So this is where I'm going to get confused. So this is another one of the Gilligan horses. I'm not going to elaborate on this one. Take a look for yourself. At the time, obviously, I thought it was a good bet. I can't remember actually why I picked it, because I've reeled off quite a few horses now, and they're all from memory. If you want to follow me in, make sure you take a look for yourself if you actually fancy the horse. So that's 2, 4. Right. The fifth one is another really. This is one of the more interesting ones as well. It's Queen's Guard, 33-1 in the 348 at Newcastle, and they're paying 4 places instead of 3. So this horse, I must say, absolutely loves the all weather. Every time I've seen it, or the 2 times I've seen it on the form, it's produced outstanding figures compared to what its handicap mark was. So one of the times it was rated 80 and ran a Racing Post rating of 90 something. That tells me it's very well handicapped. But then also, once again, it's ran into a mark of the 90s again in the Racing Post ratings. And it tells me that it loves the all-weather. Don't get me wrong. There are some horses in this race with official ratings of the low 100s. This horse still has a lot to find. And also, it's the second colours of the owner. But that means nothing. When there's big money up for grabs, they don't care which one of their horses wins or comes placed. But I think this horse, at 33-1, I think it's Michael Bell as well. This horse, in my opinion, has got a chance. Yeah, Michael Bell and Richard's Kingscote. So it's a decent combination. And finally, it's another apprentice. Right, I like the look of this one. It's King of the Dance at 22-1 in the 430 at Wolverhampton, paying 4 places instead of 3. So this horse, it only ran 5 days ago, and Bernard Llewellyn has had a couple of runners that have run very well. They've got that horse that I tipped the other day. Was it called Polling Station, I think, or No Polling, something like that? Ran an okay race, come third. I think it drifted from, was it 9-1 to 18-1, something like that. I actually wrote it off, thinking it's got no chance. So that was one result. I think it was called Polling Station. Well, this is the same colours. I think it's his own colours. So this horse ran okay last time, and I think this horse, I do believe, always seems to finish its races strongly. So I do think it's got a chance. It's in the 430 at Wolverhampton. It's paying 4 places instead of 3. Maybe he wants to give. I'm guessing it's his daughter, Jessica Llewellyn, a winner. So 22-1. I think it's got a chance. So I've done this video now. If you scroll down to the comments or the description, you will see my football bet. All it is, it's a £7 over 2.5 goals treble and a £3 over 3.5 goals treble. So those are all the bets. So I'll just quickly tally up the stake. So it's £6.30, £13.80, £14.80, £24.80. In total, it's £34.80, including the football. So quite a big stake day, but as you're well aware, I tend to now save it for Saturday and then use some returns on a Sunday and then keep it very small during the week. Disappointing day on Friday, but hopefully we'll turn the corner. For those of you that may have noticed, you could have actually cashed out for a profit on one of the bets. So you could have cashed out for £20 after the first 2 horses ran, but I don't do that, and you may not have done that. You might not even have followed me in. You might only use some of the selections, but doesn't matter now. It was a losing day, but hopefully it's a bit of a change in fortune from Friday. Hopefully Saturday will be. So I wish you the very best of luck. Let me know in the comments if you fancy any of the horses, or you're backing them, or if you're just leaving them. I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.